Okay, this is a good question. All right. Should I marry my girlfriend before the crisis is over? That's a great question. All right. First things first. I do have an opinion on this, but I want to get into first things first. It is obvious that you're thinking in terms of marriage, and that is really good. It's a good thing. It's not good to be stuck in an interminable sort of I'm in a relationship with my current girlfriend for the time being sort of relationship with no visible purpose or goal. I really don't like to see that. It's good that you're thinking of making a commitment to your girlfriend to marry her. Non-committal relationships are really dead-end affairs, and often they can be really destructive. I've seen many of them be destructive, especially for women, because in most cases the guy is just simply treading water in a kind of comfortable sort of hot tub of female affection with no real serious intention of giving the young lady the security of and the promise of marriage. And too many girls are slow to come to grips with this dead-end reality, this dead-end situation, until that dark day they realize they're just convenient types of placeholders in the life of a guy who has no aspiration, no fortitude, no determination, and no resolve in his life, no decisiveness, and certainly no love for them. So girls, try to find a man who really loves you and is not afraid of marriage. So back to your question. Okay. Should I marry my girlfriend before the crisis is over? Well, it sounds like you're quite willing to marry, but your main hesitation at this point is getting a family going when world events are way more abnormal than normal. And yes, life is not normal right now. There's economic turmoil, there's social unrest, there's possible unemployment for you, there's tortuous uncertainty for everybody, there's civil chaos breaking out, there's this persistent virus that just won't go away, there's rioting, there's food shortages, and of course, the prospect of all of those things getting a lot worse and lasting many years before they get better. So, all right, so what is your thought exactly? Are you actually willing to let your girlfriend go through all that without the protection and advantages of a husband and a family life? Let me tell you a story. Going back a number of years, when my wife and I were preparing for marriage ourselves, we were in our 20s, we had friends who were either newly married or contemplating marriage. And as for the question about children, to have or to have not, most of our friends were in the have-not category. And this was back in the late 70s, early 80s. They were not willing to bring children into being. And why? Each of them had their reasons. And some of them were, well, they had their reasons. Let me just say that. They were looking at the time at the utter failures of the Carter presidency at that time. And yes, he was a failure. They were looking at the rise of Soviet military power, which was, at that point, they were stronger and more efficient, more on top of things than the American military was. They were looking at the chances of thermonuclear war and the problems of inflation and the exploding crime waves of the 1970s. And so their reasons for having no children kind of went like this. There's absolutely no way we would bring children into the world, into a broken and evil world like this one, because the children would be hurt, they would be sad, maybe they would die. And so our response as we looked at it, my young fiance and I, and then right after we were married, we still did encounter this a lot, and we had a response to this. We said, we want to bring many children into the broken and evil world who will have the vision and the ability to fix it and to be so dangerous in their ability to stare evil down and drive it away over their lifetimes and have really fulfilling and adventurous lifetimes. We really want to be parents of children who can do that. And so we told our friends that we wanted to give birth to children who will actually grow up and solve some of the problems that they were mentioning to us, like poverty and unemployment, by having children to start businesses which can hire people. And so we did get married, And we've really had a wonderful adventure doing this. I tell people it's like the adventure of 1,000 lifetimes, because there really are so many thousands of lives represented in our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren. Now, it's true that the world is still broken. You know, my wife and I haven't fixed it. Our children haven't fixed it. And yes, it really looks bad. But we're not finished yet. And neither are our children or our grandchildren. So anyway, back to your girlfriend. If you think she's the kind of girl that you at least someday want to marry, here's what I would say. I would encourage you to get your family and your family culture started as soon as you can. And when I say family culture, I mean, look, you and your wife could build any sort of family that you want. You don't have to follow the culture of the United States of America. You can build and construct something that's way better than what you see out there. You don't have to raise your children like everybody else is doing it. You can have a bigger vision. You can go on way beyond what people are doing, even what your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents did. So my advice is make your family and your home a true refuge in the storm and an incubator for solutions that the world needs. Set it up to be a place of protection and productive business. If you both lose your jobs, okay, you and your new wife, that is a big deal, but it's not the end of the world. Make new vocations. Start the new businesses that the world needs. Take that opportunity. If something terrible happens, turn it into something better. Don't be afraid of getting a mom and pop operation going that really can be beneficial for not only for your family, but for the whole world. Okay. So if your girlfriend is the kind of girl you want to spend your life with, get started now on building the kind of life which will be a comfort not only to the two of you, but a kind of inspiration to others who need to see commitment during times of crisis. That's one thing that's missing, is seeing optimism and commitment in a time of crisis, that we can work our way out of this by moving forward, not shrinking back and retreating and being pessimistic, but being optimistic. And this is one place where you can set that kind of example. This crisis is the perfect time to make that commitment to her and actively work to engage every form of danger before it can reach her, okay? I wish you could see that. Don't let it just reach her and leave her by herself. If your girlfriend is the kind of girl you want to love, then start loving her by providing a rock-solid sanctuary from the coming storm. Don't leave her out in the cold, uncertain and isolated and vulnerable to all this crisis has to offer. And this crisis has a lot to offer that's really ugly. So get her established in a family, and you be the husband, and let the world see all that she can offer as a wife and mother who is loved and protected. So back to your question. All right, should I marry my girlfriend before the crisis ends? Well, none of us know how long it will last. It's over the spring and over the summer of 2020, it's been getting worse and worse. And so let this girlfriend be the wife of your youth and take the steps now to create your own small world that is an orderly place of peace and prosperity. That's what you can do as a family. That's what you can do as a husband and wife. So yes, don't put marriage off just because the world is falling apart right now. And yeah, it is. Anyone with eyes can see it. But don't put marriage off because of that. Go ahead and get married and raise some children who will be dangerous threats to all that is wrong in the world.
If you like content like this, please consider subscribing. If you know others who would benefit from this material, please share it with them.